Welcome to Pulse, today's hotel, restaurant, and bar industry news. A deep dive from HRBUniversal, navigating your industry. With insights from leaders.
The hospitality industry is facing a massive capital and operational reset, with nearly 70% of the $18.7 billion in maturing hotel CMBS loans carrying floating rates, and AI agents now threatening to bypass traditional hotel discovery and restaurant delivery models entirely.
Wow.
Welcome to Pulse, today's hotel, restaurant, and bar industry news deep dive, brought to you by HRBUniversal. We are delivering the critical updates, trend analyses, and operational intelligence you need to stay ahead in hospitality.
It is a really phenomenal time to be unpacking these shifts, honestly.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at a landscape where the old playbooks, they just don't apply anymore.
Right.
The macro environment is really punishing complacency right now. And the operators who survive this year are going to be the ones who deeply understand the mechanics of what is happening under the hood.
Absolutely. And, I mean, the thread connecting all of this volatility, whether you're looking at a crumbling P&L statement or a booming C-store or a property valuation, is digital and operational efficiency. And right now, the very definition of efficiency is being completely rewritten at the top of the consumer funnel.
It really is.
The way a guest finds a hotel or orders from a restaurant is fundamentally breaking away from the traditional search engine model that, we've relied on for 2 decades.
Yeah, we are absolutely seeing the death of the 10 blue links.
Right.
Bowerbird Technologies just released some really fascinating data showing that generative AI soup platforms like Google's AI Overviews, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, they now influence roughly 20% of all hotel discovery in major English-speaking markets.
20%. That's massive. Okay, let's unpack this, because it's not just a new search engine, right?
No.
It's a complete psychological shift. Travelers aren't typing, just hotels in Chicago anymore.
Exactly.
They are feeding the AI these complex multivariable prompts, like find me a boutique property in the West Loop, walking distance to Fulton Market, with a rooftop bar and a rainfall shower, under $400 a night.
And what's fascinating here is the LMM isn't directing them to a search results page.
Right.
It is synthesizing a definitive answer. It hands them 2 or 3 options that perfectly fit that exact criteria.
Yeah.
So the paradigm has completely shifted from securing a top placement in a generic list to ensuring accurate interpretation by an AI.
Wow.
If the machine doesn't understand your property's specific attributes, you simply cease to exist in that 20% of discovery.
Which brings up a massive vulnerability for direct bookings,
Oh, totally.
If an AI is synthesizing an answer about your specific boutique hotel, but an OTA has better, cleaner structured data than your own direct booking site.
The AI cites the OTA.
Exactly. It cites them as the definitive source.
And you lose the margin before the guest even clicks.
Yeah.
The LM scrapes the OTA because their architecture is optimized for machine readability. The click goes to them, the booking goes to them.
And you just paid a 15% to 20% commission on a guest who explicitly asked the AI about your property.
It's painful. And it goes even deeper on the restaurant side.
Oh, yeah.
Kitson's and Index AI are tracking the arrival of what they call agentic commerce.
Right, agentic commerce.
Yeah, and we aren't just talking about a chatbot recommending a burger. We are talking about an AI agent completing the entire buying transaction autonomously on behalf of the user.
Wait, entirely on its own?
Yes. It discovers the restaurant, browses the menu, places the order, handles the payment, and tracks the delivery.
This is an existential threat to the current third-party delivery model.
Completely. Think about the friction of the current ecosystem. You open an app, you pay a delivery fee, a service fee, and the restaurant pays a 30% commission.
Right.
With agentic commerce, the user just tells their AI assistant what they want.
Yeah.
The AI interacts directly with the restaurant's native digital infrastructure via APIs or just scraping the direct order web interface and executes the transaction. It bypasses that 30% commission ecosystem entirely.
So it's like a ruthless new digital concierge and procurement officer rolled into one.
Exactly.
But if your menu is locked inside an unreadable PDF on your website, that AI agent can't execute the order, right?
It hits a wall and immediately moves on to your competitor whose menu is built in clean HTML text.
Wow. So if you aren't speaking their language, your business is effectively invisible.
The winner in this new landscape is the operator whose data is the most easily digestible by a machine. The digital ecosystem has to be flawless.
But wait, this AI integration isn't just external.
No, not at all.
It's moving aggressively inside the 4 walls of the operation, too. Like, BJR's Restaurants is actively testing AI for labor scheduling in Texas and California to optimize efficiency. Now, I have to push back on this a bit.
Sure.
I understand tech for tech's sake, but we have an industry expected to add 100,000 jobs in 2026, pushing total employment to 15.8 million.
Right.
The macro labor market for entry-level workers is actually stabilizing. So is this AI scheduling tool just a shiny new toy for the C-suite, or does it actually move the needle on that brutal $17,000 GM replacement cost?
Well, it absolutely moves the needle because the entry-level stabilization masks a huge crisis at the management level.
Okay, how so?
You have to look at the structural turnover for general managers in full-service restaurants, which is currently hovering around 35%.
35% turnover.
Yeah. And according to Citizens Bank, the replacement cost for a single GM is upwards of $17,000.
That's just cash out the door.
Exactly. And when you lose a GM, you aren't just losing a body, You're losing institutional knowledge, team morale, and operational momentum.
Okay, but how does an AI scheduler prevent a GM from quitting?
It attacks the root cause of the turnover, which is burnout.
Ah.
Building a weekly schedule for 50 people with differing availabilities, factoring in local weather forecasts, competing sports events, historical traffic patterns, and labor compliance laws is mentally exhausting.
It's a nightmare.
Right. It eats up hours of a GM's week.
Yeah.
When the AI takes that multivariable calculus off their plate, it optimizes the schedule for unit efficiency, but more importantly, it gives the GM their sanity back.
That makes total sense.
Retaining that GM saves you the $17,000 replacement cost, protects your unit economics, and allows them to focus on actual hospitality and culture building instead of staring at a spreadsheet in the back office.
That reframes the tech spend entirely. It's a pure margin protector.
Exactly.
So for the operators and executives listening, what are the concrete, actionable steps to prepare for both the external search shift and the internal efficiency demands?
Well, first, for both hotels and restaurants, you must update your website's robots.txt file immediately.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For years, the default reflex for IT departments was to block bots to save bandwidth.
Right, keep the scrapers out.
Exactly. But now, you must explicitly allow AI crawlers like GPTbot and ClaudeBot to index your site. If you block the scraper, the LLM literally cannot read your property details, which means it cannot recommend you.
Oh, wow. So you're just cutting yourself off at the knees.
Literally.
Okay, what else?
Second, operators need to implement FAQ and how-to structured data on all core web pages. You need to use the exact real-world conversational queries your front desk or your hosts get asked every day. Make the schema incredibly easy for an AI to scrape so it cites your direct domain as the definitive source, not an OTA.
I love that. And for restaurants?
Execute a complete digital visibility audit. Ensure your menus are entirely HTML text.
Right.
If your menu is an image file or a PDF, you are invisible to agentic commerce. You have to prepare your digital infrastructure for autonomous machine transactions today.
That need for frictionless digital efficiency isn't just reshaping the tech stack, though.
No.
It is completely rewiring physical consumer behavior and exposing where traditional F&B margins are bleeding. Let's look at the inflation realities on the ground.
This is huge.
Data Essential just released their 2026 Burger Price Index, showing burger prices across major chains are up 14% since 2023. But the underlying beef commodity costs surged 32%.
That 18-point gap between the menu price increase and the commodity cost increase is pure margin compression. Operators are terrified of breaking the consumer's psychological price ceiling, so they are eating a massive chunk of that supply chain inflation themselves.
And we can see exactly how the consumer is reacting to that 14% price bump in the RMS data for July 2026.
Yeah.
QSR traffic fell 1.4% year over year, but net sales actually rose 1.4%.
Right. And this is the classic upselling mechanic at work.
Exactly.
Average check growth is outpacing price growth. The consumer might be skipping that extra midweek QSR visit, but when they do show up, they are buying more per transaction.
Yeah, they are upsizing, adding a premium beverage, or opting for a higher tier combo.
Exactly.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Those consumers who drop that 1.4% in traffic aren't just staying home and fasting.
Oh, no, they're not.
They are migrating. And this brings us to the massive C-store encroachment happening right now.
This is such a big deal.
Alimentation Couch-Tard is finalizing an $8.6 billion acquisition of the UBCA Group in Europe, which is famous for its hyper-integrated digital and cashierless tech.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, 7-Eleven is rolling out their North Star renovation plan under their new CEO, pivoting hard into a food-first destination model.
Yeah.
Why the sudden, aggressive pivot to food for a sector historically built on gas and cigarettes?
It is entirely defensive. C-stores are fighting a catastrophic decline in fuel margins right now.
Right.
The ongoing Iran war has triggered an 18% year-over-year spike in fuel prices.
Wow, 18%.
Yeah. And when gas prices spike, consumers consolidate trips and drive less.
Makes sense.
The C-stores have to replace that massive loss in fuel profitability, and the only viable replacement is high-margin, inside-the-store food service.
So they are acting like stealth restaurants.
Exactly.
They're swooping in to capture the convenience-driven diner who feels priced out of a $15 fast-casual lunch.
Right.
They are utilizing that frictionless tech we just talked about, cashierless checkout, AI-driven inventory to reduce overhead and offer a competitive grab-and-go product. If I'm a fast-casual operator, how do I compete when a convenience store is offering the exact same grab-and-go egg wrap, but without the restaurant overhead?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, you defend it through culinary complexity.
Okay.
You cannot engage a C-store in a race to the bottom on price. Their supply chain and reduced labor model will beat you every time.
Right, they just have fewer people in the building.
Exactly. Restaurants have to compete on the things a C-store cannot easily mass produce, like complex flavor profiles and innovative beverage programs.
Yeah.
And we are seeing the blueprint for this in the latest CPG data from the Startup CPG Shelfie Awards.
The 2026 Shelfie data is incredibly telling. We are witnessing what they call a massive savory surge.
Yes.
The default sweet snacking profiles are being rapidly overtaken by bold, savory ingredients. Dill, tahini, garlic, chili, umami profiles are dominating.
It's everywhere.
We're even seeing tahini integrated into granola formats.
Which sounds crazy, but it works. And look at how the sweetener formulations are shifting, too. The artificial sweeteners that dominated the last decade are really falling out of favor with founders.
Thank goodness.
Real, recognizable, whole food sweeteners like dates and honey are taking over. Dates are being leveraged not just for sweetness, but as a core brand identity pillar because they offer functional fiber and a clear, natural origin story.
It perfectly aligns with the non-UPF movement.
Completely.
72% of startup brands in this dataset opted to position themselves in the non-ultra-processed food category.
72%.
Yeah. The modern consumer is actively hunting for clean, understandable ingredient labels.
Absolutely.
And structurally, on the shelf, striped packaging is absolutely dominating aesthetics across every category to grab visual attention.
It's a strategy of benefit stacking. To get a price-sensitive consumer to open their wallet, a product can't just be high protein anymore.
Right.
It has to be protein paired with focus-enhancing adaptogens or gut health paired with stress reduction.
Yeah.
Consumers are tight on cash, but they will absolutely pay a premium for high-quality, non-UPF items that deliver complex, stacked, functional benefits.
Which is exactly why the American Egg Board's 2025 Accomplishments Report is such a crucial case study.
Oh, this was brilliant.
They scored a monumental victory getting the FDA to officially define eggs as healthy, effectively confirming the modern nutritional consensus that saturated fat, not dietary cholesterol, is the primary driver of LDL cholesterol.
Right.
They drove 8 billion organic impressions with that regulatory win.
But the real masterclass from the AVB was their crisis management during the HPAI outbreaks.
The avian flu.
Yeah, the avian flu. The volatility in the supply chain caused massive spikes in retail egg prices.
Unbelievable spikes.
But because the AEB maintained relentless transparency and proactive consumer education, 74% of consumers stated they did not blame egg farmers for the high prices.
Wow.
They preserved brand trust during a severe commodity crisis.
And they capitalized on that trust through serious product innovation.
Exactly.
Their accelerator lab helped launch Egg Life Grab-and-Go Wraps, which successfully scaled into 1,400 Target stores. They are even backing concepts like Egg-Central egg-based cereal.
Yeah, egg cereal.
It is the perfect alignment with the clean protein non-UPF demand.
Exactly. So the actionable takeaways for F&B operators are very clear here.
Okay, hit me.
First, on menu engineering, you need to pivot away from default sweet profiles.
Yeah.
You need to introduce bold, savory, globally inspired flavors like tahini, dill, and complex umami.
Right.
That culinary depth is how you differentiate your menu from a C-store's basic grab-and-go cooler.
Makes total sense.
Second, on formulation and positioning, clean up your ingredient labels right now. Lean hard into the 72% non-UPF movement.
Yeah, drop the fake stuff.
If a dish requires sweetness, swap out the processed syrups for recognizable whole food items like dates or honey. Make sure your guest understands exactly what they are eating.
Good advice.
And third, implement aggressive check optimization. To offset the margin squeeze from that 32% jump in beef costs, you must expand your premium customized beverage programs.
Ah, beverages.
Yeah, the NRA data explicitly points to beverages as a massive growth driver for check sizes. A highly customized premium beverage program is something a C-store simply cannot replicate at scale.
You can engineer the perfect savory menu and optimize your digital funnel to capture that guest, but ultimately you still have to pay the rent or service the debt on the physical box where that transaction happens.
Right.
And right now, hotel real estate is facing extreme price discovery.
It's brutal.
Lenders are finally forcing resolutions because nearly 70% of the $18.7 billion in 2026 hotel CMBS maturities carry floating rates.
This raises an important question, though, right? Because we have to look at the math of how this forces a market clearing.
Okay, walk me through it.
For 3 years, we saw a massive extend and pretend strategy from lenders. That era is completely over.
Done.
These CMBS loans were originated in an environment of extremely cheap capital, often underwritten with aggressive net operating income assumptions.
Right. Everybody thought the good times would roll forever.
Exactly. Now, those notes are maturing in a high-rate environment. If a property was operating on a 3.5% interest rate and is suddenly forced to refinance at 8% or 9%, the debt service completely wipes out their NOI.
Ouch.
The owners cannot stroke the check to cover the shortfall, and special servicers are stepping in to clear the balance sheets.
Sellers who anchored their expectations to 2021 valuations are being forced into 2026 market realities.
Exactly.
And this dynamic is creating a severe bifurcation of quality in the market. Institutional capital is aggressively chasing luxury and trophy assets, pushing the luxury construction pipelines to record highs.
Yep.
But the middle market assets are being completely overlooked.
Institutional money is avoiding the middle market because of the execution risk. It requires heavy operational lifting. But look at the underlying demand. Despite the overall U.S. hotel construction pipeline dropping 4.9% in Q2, high barrier markets are actually thriving.
Oh, really?
Detroit, for example, is forecasting a record RevPAR of $74.40. The demand in these markets absolutely exists.
So what does this all mean with luxury booming and the middle market stalling out? Are we witnessing the death of the mid-tier hotel? Or is this actually the greatest buying opportunity of the decade for a specific type of investor?
I really think it is an incredible opportunity, but only if you have the operational agility to handle the complexity of a repositioning.
Okay.
The traditional segmentations of business traveler versus leisure traveler have completely blurred. We have remote workers extending weekend stays, creating this complex hybrid guest profile.
Right, the leisure traveler.
Exactly. If you acquire a distressed middle market asset, you cannot make it profitable by relying on the bloated, full-service operational models of the past.
Right, if you try to run a full-service kitchen and a repositioned mid-tier asset, the labor overhead will instantly crush your margins.
Immediately.
Which forces us to look at the regulatory environment, where labor costs are dictating operational viability.
Right.
In Los Angeles, the city council is currently debating whether to delay the Olympic wage ordinance.
Yeah, this is a big one.
This mandate would aggressively push the minimum wage for hospitality workers to $30 an hour by 2028.
Mm-hmm.
Following intense pushback from ownership groups like AHOA and AHLA, who are already dealing with skyrocketing property insurance, the council might push that $30 threshold back to 2030.
The economic realities on both sides of this debate are just incredibly intense.
They really are.
Labor unions and workers point to the extreme cost of living, housing, and groceries in Los Angeles. They're arguing that a $30 wage is a baseline requirement for basic survival in that market.
Which is a totally fair point. Workers plan their livelihoods and housing situations around these scheduled municipal raises.
Exactly. But conversely, ownership groups look at their P&L statements and argue the math simply does not pencil out.
Yeah.
When operators face decreased demand in certain travel segments, combined with a municipal wage mandate that drastically outpaces standard inflation, small business and family-owned properties face a scenario where their operating costs actually exceed their total revenue.
And operators are also navigating completely unpredictable geopolitical headwinds.
Oh, everywhere.
NYC hotels are currently warning that a brewing trade war with Canada, marked by retaliatory tariffs, puts their recovering tourism economy at severe risk.
Right.
NYC properties are heavily reliant on international inbound travel, and any tariff-driven friction at the border directly impacts their occupancy rates.
It proves that operators can no longer rely on macroeconomic tailwinds to save a bad business model.
Now,
Profitability has to be engineered internally from day one.
so what are the actionable takeaways for real estate and operations?
Well, for investors, target value-add middle market assets where the capital structure is impaired by those maturing floating rate loans, but the local operating fundamentals remain resilient.
Like that RevPAR growth we see in Detroit.
Exactly.
Okay, what about general managers and operators?
Prepare for strict labor efficiency mandates right now. Audit your current labor model today. Assume municipal wage hikes are coming to your market, whether it's 2028 or 2030, and build a staffing model that absorbs those costs without sacrificing the guest experience.
This loops right back to integrating those AI scheduling and operational efficiency tools we discussed at the top of the show.
It all connects. And finally, for food and beverage directors and hotels, you must implement modular, high-margin food service programs.
Right.
Utilize the high-quality, non-UPF grab-and-go CPG products we discussed earlier. You can drive significant F&B revenue in these repositioned middle-market assets without carrying the crippling overhead of a traditional, full-scale kitchen staff.
It is a massive, complex puzzle, but the pieces are all there for the operators willing to adapt their models.
Absolutely.
Before we wrap up, I want to ask you for one final provocative thought. What is the one lingering reality you want our listeners to chew on after this deep dive?
Well, think about the blurring lines of hospitality we discussed today.
Okay.
What happens to our industry when the neighborhood C-store, the quick service restaurant, and the boutique hotel lobby are all competing for the exact same 20-minute consumer occasion, using the exact same AI tools, and selling a nearly identical non-UPF wrap?
Wow.
The winner won't necessarily be the one with the biggest physical sign on the street. It will be the one whose digital ecosystem is easiest for an AI agent to navigate and execute a transaction against.
That is a necessary reality check.
Yeah.
If you aren't optimizing for the machine, you are effectively invisible to the modern guest.
Completely invisible.
That wraps up today's edition of Pulse. Before you get back to your floor or executive suite, make sure to check out the other powerful shows in the HRB Universal network.
Definitely check these out.
Kitchen to C-Suite, your definitive roadmap for advancing hospitality careers, from entry-level up to executive leadership. Mise en place, culture-first leadership, and organizational strategies focused on safety, compliance, and building top-tier workplace culture.
Great show.
The Recipe for Results podcast, extra fast, high-impact extras, packed with operational tactics and actionable solutions.
Yeah.
86 Yearing, The Bad Habits, cutting out systemic operational flaws, bad leadership habits, and inefficient practices across hotels, bars, and restaurants.
Awesome stuff.
This podcast is supported by the generous commitment of our sponsors, and we extend a special thank you to HRB Universal. Their dedication to providing comprehensive resources and promoting excellence is key to empowering professionals across the culinary and hospitality industries.
Absolutely.
We also want to acknowledge the Plate and Pour Collective Equity Partner Program. This initiative exemplifies a true commitment to fostering shared success and equitable growth within the food and beverage sector, helping entrepreneurs build a more inclusive and thriving future.
It's a great program.
The journey to the C-suite is fueled by innovation, relentless dedication, and the right network. We encourage you to engage with the resources and support offered by our sponsors. For details on how to connect with HRB Universal and the Plate and Pour Collective Equity Partner Program, visit HRBUni.com or search HRB Universal online.
Check it out.
We look forward to having you join us for our next episode, where we will continue to explore captivating topics designed to elevate your career and entrepreneurial drive.
Can't wait.
Stay ahead with Pulseye. Today's hotel, restaurant, and bar industry news deep dive, brought to you by HRB Universal. Don't miss a beat. Whether you're commuting to work or unwinding on the couch, we've got your industry insights covered.
Every time.
On the go. Subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, Deezer, or visit HRBUni.com.
Yep.
Mobile app. Take the HRB network with you everywhere by getting our mobile web app at HRBUni.com at HRBUni.com.
It's so handy.
Big screen experience. Level up your show viewing stream polls directly on TV via Roku or Amazon Fire TV. Until next time, keep innovating and striving for excellence.